The journey of the hero is filled with trials. Trials of courage. Trials of loss. Trials of war. Each forging the hero in the fires of resolve, wisdom, and strength, propelling them into the unknown. This journey never ends. The hero's journey is to become legend.
We're catching up with ArenaNet here at E3 to learn more about a certain part of the upcoming expansion for Guild Wars 2, Heart of Thorns. Now this is an expansion that touches basically on everything about the game, so we're going to be a little bit more specific here and look at something that you're revealing here at E3, talking more about. You said, of course, you've announced it before, but the Guild Halls, really a massive new thing about the game, and sort of focusing on sort of guild activities and that social aspect, as well as, you know, facilitating a lot of those guild activities.
Yeah, guild halls are something we're really excited about. They're a really large feature, and I think they really epitomize why we are excited about doing an expansion. We've been very active with updating the game. We had a 2-week release cadence for a very long time, but there were features like guild halls that we started to think about that we really wanted to do, but just couldn't fit into that sort of development cycle. And so we're really excited to have the opportunity to dig into larger features like that and add foundations to the game that we can continue to grow. So guild halls themselves, of course, are a really exciting way for us to double down on making a game that is already one of the most social, friendly online experiences that you can participate in, even deeper and richer, giving our guilds a lot to work towards, to build, to unlock, and to really work together to build a shared history and have time for their relationships to develop and grow as they work together towards accomplishing those things.
I think one of the beautiful features, as far as I understand, is just how this sort of works. It's sort of a spider in the middle of the web here. There's like everything is tied together, and this will also, like guild halls is not sort of a separate thing. It will tie into competitive, it will tie into all that. Can you tell us a little bit how it will facilitate that?
Absolutely. So as Link was describing, we really wanted to make it a place that you could go with your guild, but also build things that you can take out into the rest of Tyria. So not only is it a cool place to hang out, but you're actually continuing to develop tools and strategies that are going to help you play the game, the entire game better. So for example, in World vs. World, we're kind of overhauling our existing guild claiming system. So basically in the War Room, which is a structure you can build inside your guild hall, you're able to craft these tactics and improvements, and then as you go out into World vs. World, capture towers, keeps, the castle, you're now able to claim that for your guild and slot in these improvements and tactics and bring new tools out onto the battlefield, such as banners that can help buff your group. There are player transforms, mobile siege weapons that will help you be more efficient at spreading out and taking more territory. There's also defensive improvements. You can call down airstrikes at Stone Mist to help you defend. So there's just a huge variety of ways that we're adding strategic depth and more meaningful gameplay and more option for players to do what they love to do in World vs. World. We're also, sorry, to add for PvP, we're really excited to introduce guild teams. So players are able to form rosters under their guild banner and then go into our structured PvP game modes, such as Conquest and Stronghold, which is our newest game mode we're bringing with the expansion. And they're really able to make a name for themselves and kind of build a reputation and see how they stack up against other guild teams on a guild leaderboard that we're going to be introducing as well.
Can we go back to a little bit how you sort of get to this guild hall, because this is not something that's just given to the player, something you have to earn, something the guild has to earn together.
Yeah, that's correct. So, unlike you might expect, it's not like you go buy a key and then you can just go hang out in your clubhouse, right? Guild halls really live in the story of the expansion and in the world. They're locations where this new organization in the world, the Guild Initiative, has identified that there's concentrations of activity with the dragon's minions, the Elder Dragon Mordremoth being sort of the big threat that looms over the expansion. And so that organization is looking for guilds to mount expeditions, go out into the jungle and take them and then hold them. But that process is really like a big adventure, right? Like you have to go out there, play with your friends, your guildmates, other people to just make the public world safe enough to even access those areas. And once you've done that, you need to go in and actually drive out that Mordrim infestation. And only when you've done that will you be able to actually claim that hall for your own. It's going to be really exciting to get to do that together and to have that momentous moment that's not just, paying for a deed.
So how do you go about making this this content available for smaller and bigger clan guilds and sort of how do you, because this sounds a lot like it's for the guilds who are very organized and competitive. But how do you open it up for the entire player base?
So that's actually something we've heard a lot from our community, that they really want to make sure that small guilds are able to participate in the content that we release for guilds. We actually have put out several collaborative development initiative threads, we call them, on our forums, where we solicited feedback from our players, and we definitely heard that. So while the moments in the guilds hall system and that adventure are momentous and large, we're balancing them so that guilds of varying sizes can absolutely partake in them. The initial adventure will be potentially more challenging for a group of 5 people, and probably not feasible for like a one-person guild, right? But they should be interesting, and with just a few friends, you should absolutely be able to get through that. And then once you have your guild hall and you're unlocking things and progressing and growing that space, there's different things we've designed in the economy to restrict how fast a larger guild can get ahead of everyone else. There's time-gated things, and so we expect that large guilds will be mostly waiting for that limiter, whereas small guilds will have plenty of that, but will be working together to get the resources and materials they need in order to make progress, and so that should keep the two relatively aligned.
But I suppose on the competitive side, it's more about those larger guilds and the more organized ones.
Not necessarily. So among the guild claiming features that you're able to unlock in your guild hall, there's a lot of opportunity for smaller roaming Havoc groups. The banners are a great example. They offer a lot of gameplay. There's a whole skill palette associated with the banners, so you're able to buff your group no matter the size. The player transforms are really interesting and unique. You could definitely have one of your party members turn into a char car, which is this awesome motorcycle transform. That's like a mobile siege weapon, and escort them to help you take various objectives. And I imagine that a very small group could accomplish that. And then the PvP guild teams, you can play with 5 of your closest friends. So there is still opportunity for smaller guilds to really take advantage of all of this stuff.
So you're also bringing a new guild profession, the scribe. Can you tell us a little bit about sort of the benefits of that and what kind of things players will be able to sort of craft?
Yeah, we're really excited about scribing. It's something that I haven't seen myself in other games, where we allow our crafting players, who often already will like make items to give to friends to help them get a boost, to really allow them to make items for their guild specifically. And so some of the examples include like items that you can take out into the world, like banners to place down that your guild can get buffs from, but that also just anyone around can get buffs from. Other examples are the tools and tactics for World versus World, and that guild claiming functionality, which can absolutely be used in your own claim, but can also help other players to progress their claims as well. There's also decorations for your guild, right? The ability not only to just like take some basic decorations and make your space really cool, but to go out, find rare materials and then upgrade those decorations into like more luxurious and varied versions. It should be a lot of fun for scribes to be able to like step up and be able to give back to their community in a real practical way that has gameplay attached to it.
Very interesting. Can you, just in your own words, sort of say what this sort of the new areas that you're adding in Heart of Thorns, what that sort of adds to the world and to the respective sort of gameplay that's there?
So the new maps that we're adding are functionally very different from the open world, of course, right? Like they are, they're big, massive spaces, but they have kind of a quieter story. The storytelling we've always done in Guild Wars 2 is very active. You're wandering around and bandits are attacking a farm, or there's a caravan that needs your help to get through a dangerous swamp. It's always giving you the opportunity to step up and be the hero. With guild halls, we're creating more of a kind of hearth and home story, right? This is a place where people are coming to settle this location that's on a dangerous frontier, right? Like the jungle is teeming with the dragon's minions, and you're looking to fortify this location and hold it, but inside those fortifications, you're trying to set down roots and build this place up, and also uncover what happened here. There's kind of an archaeological component to guild halls as you identify who made this place that the Mordrim had taken over and what was it used for. Players will be able to dig into that, and there's different stories for the different guild halls that players will be able to discover.
There's 2 of them, right?
That's correct. Yes, the Gilded Hollow and the Lost Precipice, and they are very, very different. One is this underground, opulent, titanic cavern built atop this vast aquifer, and the other is this secluded canyon with huge spires and rope bridges that you can dive from or hang glide off of. They're very fun spaces.
I can imagine that, like for a lot of the competitive space, the portal is something that is going to be very useful and very sort of practical part of the guild hall.
Absolutely. You know, it's a really great place for players to kind of stage what they plan to do for the night. So gather in your guild hall, whether you want to go to World versus World or structured PvP, or, you know, tackle a world boss or anything. You can set a destination, and then no matter the size of your group, you're all able to enter through the same portal and arrive at the same place. So that'll be really convenient.
I can imagine that people have been requesting that.
Yeah, so, you know, we've been doing collaborative design initiatives, and we've got a lot of feedback about what players want to see from guild halls, you know, what's the most important to them, and, you know, functionality is definitely at the top of the list, so I think we're nailing a lot of that, hopefully.
Okay. So, of course, we're not quite there yet to launch. Can you tell us a little bit where you're at in development with this and sort of what's left to do?
Well, we just announced pre-purchase for the expansion, and we're really excited because anyone who pre-purchases the game is going to be able to join all of our open beta weekends, and beta testing is so important for us at ArenaNet. We really value that feedback that we get from our players and being able to see when large groups of players are moving through that content, how it works. So we don't have a release date yet because, honestly, it's really important for us to get that feedback and get the game to a place we're really happy with so that we know we're going to nail it for our players.
I can imagine that your eyes are keenly on that as well.
Absolutely. As part of the betas, our new PvP game mode, Stronghold, will be incorporated in that as well. And as Link was describing, we really want to get a sense of how close we are to being done based on how the players react to the content we have for them so far. So throughout the beta events, I think we're going to get a better idea of how close we are to having the polished product that we want.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yep.
Thanks, we really appreciate it.
Thank you.